important do you think is public faith in the system?
Extremely important. I talked a little bit in the profit statements about having trust, respect, and working with and not for. And over a period of time, that really grew. And we had about 30, 40 community groups that would come out. Close to 100 people would be there. And we let them into the police department. We talked about all the crime that was going on, different things that were happening. And I think that showing that we were trustworthy, give them the information, gave that trust back in return. I think there's some other things that, sometimes police can be a little heavy-handed. I don't know if you knew that. And we were, at certain times, we would call in the state police when we would have 12 shootings in a week. And there's 48 different ways to violate a left turn. They knew about 53. And they would make a lot of stops. You don't want to police your community that way. But for a short time, grab some immediate change, relax the violence, and then go back into it. So it took a period of time to get away from that type of policing. It wasn't very often, but it did happen every once in a while. So those are tough. I think the other one is offering of proffers. Probably one of the things that I hate about my job is offering a proffer, giving one person a pass or a reduced sentence in order to get others. Every time we would do that, we would always talk to the family of the individual that we were going to offer a proffer and make sure that they understood what was happening, and the end goal is to really save more and more lives. And so I think public faith and public acceptance is huge.
Anyone else want to offer a response?
Well, I would agree. I mean, I think we all agree. The public confidence in how the system operates is critical. That the public have faith that this criminal justice system is fair, and that it's effective, and that it's efficient. And so without, just talking about the defense function, for example, it is much more difficult for defenders to be zealous advocates for their clients if their caseloads are exorbitant, if they can't get to the jail to visit their clients in a reasonable time, if they don't have the time to prepare their cases. Then the public begins to look at the public defenders as not advocates for their cause, but instead part of a system that is pushing them into the prison system. So it's critical for all the players in the system that the public have faith and has confidence in how the system is functioning.
I had the opportunity in the early 2000s to attend a meeting in Arlington, Virginia, and I was representing the National District Attorneys Association in a discussion on this topic of the public confidence in the criminal justice system. The discussion was facilitated by the representative of the Kennedy School of Government from Harvard. And it's something to say people don't have trust in the system. At the end of the 2 days, this was a meeting of not just prosecutors, defenders, law enforcement, but also representatives of community organizations, mayors from all over the country. Everybody who had a stake in the criminal justice system. And the two things that came out of this 2 days of meetings was that the public overwhelmingly believed that the criminal justice system in this nation did not deal with the needs of the victims. Victims felt like their needs were not being dealt with. And that by and large, people thought there were two systems of criminal justice, one for the rich and one for the poor. And when I heard it summarized in that fashion, it occurred to me as I returned to my jurisdiction that these are things we had to really deal with. Now, many states have passed victims' rights legislation, and victims have the right to be informed of what's going on in the court cases, and also to elocute and sentencing, that type of thing. But this idea of two different systems based on either economic or racial lines, where everyone is divided, is still, I think, an issue. And I think that when that's lacking, when that confidence is lacking, it does spill over to the police. What witnesses are going to step forward with their confidence in the system? How are they going to report crime? What witness is going to show up in this? That's all tied to confidence and trust in the system.
Well, I think we all agree on the importance, and I think we probably all agree that it's in a state of some peril. One of the things that I have found particularly frightening across the last several years, again due to the catastrophic effects on government budgets of the recession, all over this country, courts have been closing down. California, Los Angeles right now is closing down something like 50 or 60 court buildings. New Hampshire closed down their civil courts for a year. All over this country, courts are closing. And what's really disturbing to me is I've heard no public outcry. Nobody cares. And that ought to put the fear of God in all of us. There is very much the issue that the police chief mentioned about the communities sometimes feeling that the police and therefore everybody up the chain are their enemies, and that's a difficult thing to address. There is very much the problem that there's a different system of justice for rich people and poor people, criminal and civil. For those of you who are in this room who are upper middle class people, you could not afford to get involved in any litigation of any significance that didn't involve contingent payment to your lawyer. You simply could not afford to do it. The same would be true if somebody in your family were arrested for a serious criminal case, and there's something terribly wrong with that. And the third area of concern is that the younger end of our population has already moved into an internet life. They simply don't understand the lack of transparency. They don't understand the lack of 24/7 access and instant response. They don't understand why the system should be opaque, why they should have to go to a place to get court business done as opposed to doing it through the internet and the like. And we look to them more and more like a dysfunctional dinosaur as we drag our feet moving into that way.
So, Professor Stone talked about a criminal justice system that was fair, effective, and efficient. And I would say that we're profoundly challenged, not just in Cook County, but across this country, in all three arenas. So I got a couple stories to tell. A couple of years ago, a delegation from South Africa came to visit our jail. They went all the way through the jail, and they got to the end, and one of the people in the delegation raised their hand and said, "Where is the jail for white people?" So we have a jail that's full of black and brown. They usually say that the jail is at the intersection of racism and poverty in this country. It's profoundly disturbing to me as somebody who's responsible for the county budget and who works with people in the criminal justice system. Effective and efficient, our courts are becoming less efficient. If we were able to dispose of cases, to adjudicate cases in the same time period today in 2013 that we did in 2007, we'd have 1,500 to 2,000 people fewer in our jail. And we now have close to 10,000 and are reaching capacity. So I think that we have some very real challenges around race, around equity, around efficiency that are very troubling to me.